Discipline is a controlled form of behavior. When you are undisciplined, it means you let your emotional responses dictate how you act. When you have discipline, you are showing a controlled form of behavior. Discipline is the skill, focus is the byproduct. Build the skill of discipline and focus will become the byproduct, guys. Stop trying to be great at something and aim to be disciplined at it. Because when we aim for greatness, it feels like a very, I don't want to say a selfish pursuit, but it just seems like self-serving. But when you want to be disciplined at something, discipline breeds mastery. Discipline becomes like, I want to be so good at this that I become a master at this skill that now I can teach my community how to also become masters at this. Okay, guys, like this is, okay. Now I'm going to go into 3 ways that I personally increase my focus. There's an app called Toggl, Toggl, Toggl desktop app, Toggl. This is a Google Chrome plugin, and it's also an app both on Android and iPhone. So a lot of you guys, sometimes you approach your day without discipline. So instead of you're wondering like where your time went, tell it where to go instead of wondering where it went. So if you use the Toggl app, you can track, I'm spending 4 hours on emails. One thing as well, when it comes to focus, no, we can no longer be people who check our emails 10 times a day. Like bless, my sponsors and my partners and people that I correspond with, but they know if they don't catch me in the morning, then they're going to catch me in the evening. And if they miss me in the evening, they'll get me tomorrow. Nothing is an emergency. And when I have that own self-discipline with my time and how often I'm checking my emails, I'm able to focus more of my undivided attention on the task at hand. So make sure you have a discipline around how much and how often you're checking your emails. And I know this might vary depending on the working relationship and the boundaries that's already been established. So unfortunately, this can't be the rule for everyone. But if possible, try to find a way to only check your email twice a day, maybe 3 times max, morning, afternoon, evening. That way, you're not constantly in responsive mode, like reactive mode, like just, I got to constantly react to other people. And I believe BURCHARD said this at High Performance Academy, I think a couple years ago, but he was like, email is nothing more than a list of other people's agendas. Your email is nothing more than a list of other people's agendas. Shout out to Brendan, because that stuck with me 2 years later. It still sticks with me. Okay. So again, the Toggl app, Toggl. The second thing that I do to increase my focus, my phone goes on do not disturb from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And when you put your phone on do not disturb, even if people try to access you, your phone blocks it. Not in a, harmful way. That sounds really rude. Your phone will block people. They just won't, it'll, if someone tries to call you past 8 p.m., it'll say this person is not receiving calls at this time. How respectful. That's really nice. Isn't that like a really cool boundary to set? Like, it's not even that this person doesn't want to talk to you. It's this person is not receiving calls at this time. The person on the other side of that is now aware of the boundary you've placed for yourself because of your own disciplined focus. You have said from 8 p.m., which should be your winding down hours, because just like you have a morning routine, you should be having an evening routine as well. If you are falling asleep to Netflix, am I calling some people out? Let's stop falling asleep to Netflix and Hulu, guys. Like I understand we need those decompressing hours, but I want the last hours and the last minutes of my day to be spent reading, because what then happens is when I'm sleeping, I'm marinating on the words that I just read. So I love to read like the Zen stuff. I'm reading some Zen Buddhism stuff because it's really helping me just be more calm. So when I read that before bed, I'm now dreaming. Well, I imagine myself dreaming and just marinating in this dream, this other dimension, wherever we go when we sleep. We create these alternative realities, but I imagine myself marinating on those words. And when I wake up, I find myself in a really peaceful place. Okay, so that do not disturb is really important. 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Those are my personal boundaries. You guys can, 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., whatever you want it to be. And the reason I said until 8 a.m. is because if I'm waking up at 5, that means I have 3 hours of uninterrupted meditation, journaling, prayer, workout, whatever I want my morning to be. Because a lot of us are trying to start our days pouring from an empty cup. We haven't even filled our own cup yet. And we've got the demands of the world, work, our partners, our kids. There's so much. And I admire so many of you that wear so many hats and show up for so many people. But understand, you cannot pour from an empty cup. And you cannot be your best self if you are constantly running on responsive mode, just responding to what the world throws at you. Excuse me. Okay, so that's the second thing. The third thing is one thing at a time. You have 80 tabs in your browser and you feel like, oh, I'm just accomplishing so much because I'm working on this project. I've got this tab open, like enough of that. We are going to no longer praise that type of approach because I used to like brag about how multitasking like I could be. I mean, I could do this, I could work out while I'm also reading, and then I can also do this and send that email. No, guys, people, whatever you're working on, they deserve 100% of you. Like, give unfocused, undivided, dedicated time to one task at a time. Because what's then going to happen is you're going to enter this thing called flow state. Flow state is the most beautiful thing. Guys, momentum is so lucrative. When you enter flow state, things just start clicking. But you can't enter flow with one task if you are spread across 10 tasks, okay? So make sure you're allowing yourself the capacity to work on one thing at a time. And when we wake up with to-do list every single day, what does your to-do list look like? Are you the kind of person that writes 20 things? Somehow you feel like you're Beyonce and you can accomplish 20 things in a day. Guys, we are not Beyonce. We are normal human beings. I'm just kidding. We really have to approach our days more realistically. Because what I used to do is I would say, okay, today's going to be a good day, Glo. You're going to wake up at 5 a.m. We're going to write these 20 things. We're going to accomplish them. Like, oh, we're on fire. And I'll get to noon or I'll get to 3 p.m. and I've checked off 2 boxes. And out of 20 things, I've checked off 2 boxes. And then the rest of my day, I'm sulking over what I haven't accomplished yet. And then what happens? By the next day, I wake up in deficit with negative 18. Because of all the things that I did. And so now I have negative 18 plus the new 10 things that I miraculously need to accomplish by the next day. Okay, I want you guys to give yourself more grace and be a little more practical with the things that you put on your daily to-do list. No more than 3. And if you guys can find ways to simplify your day-to-day approach to just 3 manageable tasks, you guys will be so much more manageable and you'll be able to give yourself a lot more grace, okay? So one thing at a time, no more multitasking. And with your to-do list, no more than 3.
This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remember and you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.